Sunday, and I just wanted to share my trade from Friday now that I'm getting around to it. Something I've been working on is puts, so trading to the downside with the market and just kind of reversing my strategy that I used to the upside. And I'm going to use an example of that today. On a trade I made on AMD, I made 47% on just one put. Super easy, simple trade if you really understand price action and support and resistance. It was really simple trade, kind of just going with the flow and with the market. And you can see in the example I'm going to give you on AMD when I jump over to the charts. But yeah, it's just about following the rules. I'm going to show you how I find these trades and opportunities, and I make it super simple. I don't use MACD and moving average crossovers and none of that crap. I simply use the chart. I use VWAP, and I use the 13 EMA. The 13 EMA is just used for exits most of the time, just to show me that the market is trending in my favor. And I'll give you guys an example of that. So let's jump over to my computer, and I'll show you that AMD trade, and I'll show you how you can make money to the downside using puts. What's going on, guys? So I'm going to break down this AMD trade for you. With all the news coming out, interest rate news, Fed meetings, all the stuff, a lot of fear in the market and what's to come, a lot of stuff hitting all-time highs. So a lot of stuff is rejecting those highs, and it's kind of why I was looking at AMD. You can see we have a high here of 185, and we've kind of been retesting this other area of 180, kind of in resistance, and we broke just above that, and it was not able to hold. So once it was not able to hold above this level and it came back into this level, I was able to take a trade on that opportunity and on the 2-minute time frame, and I'll break that down on different time frames and show you how I made this put trade. So this is the daily chart. You can see here we didn't quite make it to the highs, and we didn't break over the previous day's high. So that's kind of step number one. Now we'll jump over to the hourly chart, and then we'll jump down to the actual entry on the 2-minute chart. On AMD, you can see that 180 resistance level that we broke up. We double topped and broke down back under 180. And this is where, this kind of area is where we find our entry point once it broke this low, and I'll show you that on the 2-minute chart. But you can see how many times we hit 180 over and over and over and over. So that's a super important area. So once we break above it, that's really important. But if we come back down and break back through it, and it doesn't hold, that's also really important, something we want to look at. So we did not break that high of 185. And we rejected at the high of the previous day, which is right here around 183.83, as you can see. It rejected that level and pulled back down. And when we opened up and then pulled back down. And once we broke that low, that will be our entry point. And I'll show you that on a much clearer level when I jump over to the 2-minute. And one thing you want to do is I put the hourly and the 2-minute side by side. I just not really able to do it on screen recording because it squishes it so much you can't really see. So I'm going to show it to you separately. But I do put these charts side by side so I can see each level and different time frames to help me get a better entry. Like I said, around that 183.83, 184 level, we made a lower high and rejected at the high of yesterday. And see how you can't see the high of yesterday on the 2-minute chart unless you really zoom out. And then the chart's hard to see and read. That's why it's important to put a bigger time frame chart next to this one. That way you can see where it is and you don't forget what it is. And you can draw a line across. Now you change the color, that can help too. I just like to visually do it. And sometimes I've got multiple areas and I forget what the line was for. But I just think visual chart on a higher time frame next to it does me a lot better. What you see here where we rejected it, we came back down, and this opening low where we kind of made this where it kind of curved over here, we broke down below VWAP. When we broke that low at the open after this rejection, that is when I entered. You can see these two candles right here side by side, these two 2-minute candles where they wicked really hard. This second one right here, that was my entry, and we rejected off VWAP, got this huge candle. It came down to 180. That 180 area was potential support, and this was a mistake on my end. I could have waited to see if it broke below 180 and continued, and I could have made a lot more, but I'm still working on trading to the downside, and I was up 47%, and I didn't want to give back gains, and 47% is a crazy good return. I'm usually aiming for like 20%. So to make double what my usual target is in the span of 5 minutes, uh, you can take profits there. If I bought more, I probably would have trimmed and then held on to some and waited to see if it broke that 180 level or held below the 13. If I held below the 13, we probably would have got it all the way down, and we wouldn't have got stopped out down until way down here at the bottom, and would have made over 100%. But super simple trade on AMD. The rejection of the high, double topped on the 1 hour, and we broke down, rejecting VWAP on volume, and just absolutely tanked with the overall market. And it was super simple. First 45 minutes of the open, 47%, close out, go home for the day, and go and do whatever you want. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Hopefully come back and watch more videos. Hopefully it's educational. If there's anything you want to learn about my style of trading, please comment and like the video and subscribe. Hopefully we can try to reach 1,000 subscribers this year and do some really other fun stuff.